It's June 4th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today. In this show, we talk about Stride entering the room. We go over Strategy's full capital stack, and an impressive one it is. Also, Strife and Stride will flip US Treasuries, specifically the 30-year, thinks some very smart people. Also, who the heck is short 10 million shares of MSTR? We take a look at that. Plus some epic video clips you're not going to want to miss. This video is not financial advice, but please do comment below. Just comment for support. Let me know where you're watching from, by the way. We haven't been there for a while where people are shouting out where they're watching from. I love seeing all over the world, whether you're overseas, whether you're in North America, the Eastern Hemisphere. Where are you watching from? Just go ahead, post it in the comments below, and let's dive on in. Okay, today's first post is coming at you from the Bitcoin therapist who just wants us to know this is the most bullish I've been on MSTR in 6 months. Everything is falling perfectly into place. Saylor is the master architect of the speculative attack on the US dollar, and I could not agree more. I mean, Stride is just the latest in this perfectly orchestrated takeover of the financial markets. I love it. So let's dive more into that specifically. Jeff wants us to know that the most liquid fixed income capital stack in the world is being created right in front of our eyes, backed by the most powerful asset on the planet. History in the making. One side of the fixed income market is mispriced, and it's likely not strategies. There will be a landslide of capital when the market chases the new equilibrium. And by the way, I am properly placed for this landslide. Are you? I'm just at the bottom of that hill saying, come to daddy. Chris says, this is Strategy's capital stack, a blueprint of how MSTR finances its Bitcoin-backed empire. So first is convertible notes. Convertible notes are debt that can be converted into equity. They come with downside protection, but limited upside. They are senior in the capital stack and get paid first in a liquidation event. And then there's Strife. Strife is preferred equity. It comes with limited downside protection, but no upside. It is junior to convertible notes, but senior to Strike in a liquidation event. And then there's Strike. Is a preferred equity, comes with limited downside protection and upside potential. It is junior to Stripe, but senior to Stride in a liquidation event. And then, of course, there's Stride. Stride is preferred equity. It comes with limited downside protection, but no upside. It is junior to Stripe, but senior to common equity in a liquidation event. And then the common equity. The common equity is pure ownership. It comes with no downside protection, but unlimited upside potential. It is last in the liquidation event line. Every layer of the strategy capital stack is designed to appeal to a different pool of investors based on their volatility, risk, and return goals, optimize capital efficiency, and maximize Bitcoin accumulation. So again, you have debt, which is the convertible notes, the preferred, strike, and then common equity. And I think we're going to be adding a few more to this layer right here. But only time will tell. Who knows what Michael Saylor is cooking up? But something tells me he's not done. And actually, the question should be begged, should he ever be done? Because, man, he is just rocking and rolling. Matt wants us to know that Saylor is pulling forward hyper-Bitcoinization by giga-siphoning capital from the fixed income market, and people are still clowning on him. It's a buy now, pay later structure, but for institutional capital, and they're buying Bitcoin. It's an incredible deal for shareholders. And this individual, I mean, he says, dilute commons to fund a dividend for preferreds. Sounds like a crap deal with shareholders. There's just so much incompetence and cluelessness and absolute just, it's just, what is it? What is the word? It's just these individuals do no research. They just open their mouth and crap spews out at a ridiculous rate. This is why I follow 22 people, because almost everybody else that opens their mouth on X, I honestly do not care what they have to say. So why am I having to see it? And Matt's just pointing that out beautifully here. Adrian says, stack to accelerate Bitcoin accumulation link. This is a great article that was written in the Bitcoin magazine about how Strategy built their capital stack to accelerate Bitcoin accumulation. I will have the link to this in the show notes below. And this is the article right here. It's a Bitcoin magazine, how Strategy built their capital stack to accelerate Bitcoin accumulation. And they just go through everything. What is a capital stack? The stack order by priority, convertible notes, Strife, Strike, Stri. So they covered all. Then the common equity. And then the big picture. Saylor is targeting the fixed income market, and then why it matters. The key takeaways, this is what I think is important. Every layer matches a specific investor need, from low risk debt to speculative yield. Capital flows in, Bitcoin stays put, preserving treasury position while scaling, and then no single instrument dominates. The stack is diversified by design, and control is retained. Most securities are non-voting, non-convertible. Saylor and his strategy are in his control, are in Fong Lee's control, are in the control of the team at Strategy. And that's just where we want it, in my opinion. Jeff says, Strife will flip the 30-year U.S. Treasury. Stride will flip the 30-year U.S. Treasury. They're measuring sticks for the health of Bitcoin versus fiat. And I can tell you, in my opinion, Bitcoin is unbelievably healthy and fiat is not. And then the Bitcoin therapist says, just going to leave this here. And it was on a post from Jeff Walton that said, Lord have mercy. MSTY is short 9.9 million MSTR shares and long 250,000. This puppy may cause a squeeze. And of course, he's talking and referring to a potential short squeeze, which would rocket MSTR to the upside. Now, we have some great video clips you're not going to want to miss when we get back from thanking our sponsors. Let's be real. If you've ever tried to invest, especially as a beginner, you've probably asked yourself, how do I even find good stocks? What should I buy or sell right now? And seriously, what the hell is going on with the market today? I ask myself those same questions all the time. And that's exactly why I started using Investing Pro, the powerful new platform from investing.com that helps you make smarter investing decisions without drowning in information overload. One of my favorite features, Warren AI. It's like ChatGPT on the stock market, but with real-time data-backed answers straight from investing.com's massive financial database. Want to know why NVIDIA dropped yesterday or why now is a good time to buy Tesla? Just ask. Warren AI gives you instant, up-to-date insights you can actually act on. I recently asked it where to invest $10,000 right now, and the list of stocks that returned, fire, full of actionable ideas I hadn't even considered. Bottom line, if you want to invest smarter, faster, and with more confidence, Investing Pro with Warren AI is a game changer. Check it out now at investing-referral.com/MSTR. Online shopping has never been easier, but this ease is new enough that we remember a time when entering all our credit card info every time we purchased something online was the norm. Luckily, we don't have to do that anymore thanks to Shopify. That's right, that purple Shop Pay button that makes it seamless to purchase online is powered by Shopify. And Shopify doesn't just make it easy to buy, it makes it incredibly easy to start a business no matter your experience. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and they make it super easy to get up and running with beautiful, ready-to-go templates and built-in marketing and email tools. Worried about tracking inventory, payments, and analytics? No stress. Shopify helps you manage it all from a single dashboard. And back to that iconic purple Shop Pay button, it's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/MSTR. Go to shopify.com/MSTR, shopify.com/MSTR.
Good point. And here's the way I would say it. The difference between money and speculation is if it's money, then the largest holders are buying more. And if it's speculation, the largest holders are selling. So the real issue is, are the hodlers buying or are they selling? I'll give you an example of great asset classes that are money. Apple stock is money. Apple is buying more, and a lot of people that own Apple stock will buy more. New York City real estate or London real estate or Palm Beach real estate, luxury real estate is money. Because if you look at wealthy people, they're not selling. There's no one bragging about how they sold all their nice places in Palm Beach, New York, and London. They're buying more, right? If you've ever met a rich family that has real estate holdings, they don't sit around saying, yeah, we're going to diversify and we're going to sell next year. We're going to get rid of the entire portfolio at a huge profit over 10 years. What they say is, I'm looking forward to the next deal where we're going to acquire this building, or we're going to buy this other thing, right? They buy and they hold. And they typically buy and hold to give to their children's children, right? The same is true with art. If it's good art, collectors, Frick, Andrew Mellon, they didn't buy art to flip the art, right? They're not speculators. I bought a Picasso so I could sell the Picasso, right? They wanted to buy them all. That's why they call them collectors. So if something is deemed to be really valuable, you bought $1 billion of it, and your goal is to buy another $1 billion of it. And so if you think about all these things, which thing in the crypto ecosystem is that, right? Bitcoin is that, right? I bought a bunch of Bitcoin. My goal is to buy more Bitcoin, right? It's just a very simple acid test. Do you have an exit strategy, or is that the exit strategy?
Every financial revolution has a breakthrough instrument. Strategy has two: strike and strife. Now, if you don't understand these two innovations, then you won't understand where strategy is heading. So in this video, I want to explain why strike and strife are the engines to strategy's future success. Now, first, let's understand the strategy playbook. If you haven't already, I invite you to watch the video where I unpack the playbook in detail. I'll leave a link to that video in the description if you're watching on YouTube. But in a nutshell, it is this. Michael Saylor wants to acquire as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. The best way to do that is to raise capital. The best way to do that is to create financial products that appeal to the entire investor spectrum, because different investors are optimizing for different outcomes based on their volatility, risk, and return goals. Now, not all products are created equal, because each product has a different level of Bitcoin torque, which is essentially return on capital. And so each product has a different degree of accretion. So for example, convertible bonds have more Bitcoin torque than the ATM. Strike has more Bitcoin torque than convertible bonds, and Strife has more Bitcoin torque than Strike. So that's the business model in a nutshell. Now, we've heard Michael Saylor explicitly state that he wants strategy to become the Amazon of the fixed income market. 2 months ago, in an interview with the Economic Club of New York, we also heard Michael Saylor state explicitly that he wanted to capture 1% of the fixed income market. Here's a clip.
Look, we're tapping into the fixed income markets. There's 300 trillion of fixed income, so I want 1% of it. So could I raise 100 billion, 200 billion dollars of capital? Sure, I could.
Now, at this moment in time, what products do you think Saylor is going to use to tap into the fixed income market? Of course, it's Strike and Strife. Now, let's unpack both products. Strike is a convertible preferred stock that pays an annual dividend of 8% and comes with the option to convert to common stock at $1,000. So in other words, if, or rather when, MSTR hits $1,000, holders of Strike have the option, not the obligation, to convert their shares to common stock at a ratio of 10 to 1. So for every 10 shares of Strike you are entitled to 1 share of MSTR. Strife, on the other hand, is a perpetual preferred stock that pays an annual dividend of 10%, but with no option to convert. So with that in mind, it is clear that Strike is going to be used to tap into the convertible bond market. Strife is going to be used to tap into the broader fixed income market. Now, the beauty, my friends, the beauty of these products is that they resemble traditional bonds, but they are structured as preferred equity, which allows strategy to raise capital without increasing debt. Now, what does all this mean for equity holders? Well, up until this point, strategy has primarily been using the ATM to raise capital to buy Bitcoin. However, remember, Strike and Strife are more accretive than the ATM. So the more demand strategy is able to create for these products for Strike and Strife, the less they'll need to use the ATM. And so the more accretive Bitcoin purchases will be. And so to the degree that strategy succeeds at this, to the degree that strategy is able to generate more and more demand for these products, is to the degree that it will determine the performance of the company over the coming years. Now, let me emphasize, we're not talking about a small innovation here. We are talking about completely transforming global finance and the capital markets. And I say that as a word of caution because it is going to take time to build demand for these products, which is why, if you're an equity shareholder, you need to have patience. You have to expand your time horizon and think a minimum of 3 to 5 years out. So, in summary, Michael Saylor's goal is to acquire as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. To do that, he wants to tap into the fixed income market to raise capital and use it to buy Bitcoin. To tap into the fixed income market, he's going to use Strike and Strife as vehicles to attract that capital. And that is why Strike and Strife aren't just some arbitrary products that strategy has created. They are literally the engines to strategy's future success.
And there you have it, another episode of MSTR Today. And here's my receipt from yesterday. I bought a 0.555 share, nice, of MSTR at $379. So stacked $210 worth of MSTR, got me just about half a share as I buy $210 of MSTR every trading day of 2025. I'm going to go ahead this coming Sunday and share my entire DCA portfolio. My last one, I was up about 14%. So we'll see where I'm at this coming Sunday for sure. Now, listen, we know this because it's true. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. There are just so many unintelligent people out there posting things on X that so many people take just at their word for I don't know what reason, because they have 72,000 fake followers or something along those lines. It's just ludicrous. I follow 22 people. Those are the only comments that I see on my X feed, because guess what? I don't need all of these incredible geniuses who are broke on their parents' couch giving me financial advice. I take financial advice from very select people, and you should too, because you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So thank you for these 15 minutes you spent here with me today. I believe that Michael Saylor is the financial genius of our generation. Nothing's going to dissuade me from that until MSTR, I should say, unless MSTR goes to absolute zero, which I just cannot imagine. I believe the strategy is going to become the biggest company in the world, bar none, period, end of story. I believe it's inevitable. That's inevitable with a capital Bitcoin B. Just my thoughts, just my belief, and we'll see what time we'll share with that, truth or falsity. But like Michael Saylor loves to say, no matter what, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.